right, it is Thursday, March 19th, on my way to work as usual. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm just talking about having certainty with your identity of like who you are and being disciplined about it. I feel like sometimes, I just drift a little bit and don't have that sense of being of who I am. And that's the whole reason why I kind of started this too, is this channel, is because I wanted to really find that clarity in my life, in the direction I'm going, in my vision, my mission. What am I doing here, kind of thing. And whatever is going on in your life, I think that's so important to have that foundation, that clarity. I mean, it's the reason why, you brush your teeth even though you don't feel like it, is because you have an identity. You have a clear identity about, being hygienic or being healthy, whatever it is to you, or having just like nice teeth. Maybe if it's superficial, use that. you know, um, I think it's also important to recognize, and be aware of when you're being superficial about yourself, and it's not a bad thing by any means. Just recognize where the ego is. Everyone has an ego. I mean, at the end of the day, unless you're some Buddhist monk or priest or something that's really connected to God in a very high conscious spiritual way, everyone has an ego, and if you think you don't, that's your ego talking. And even if you are kind of maybe have streaks of enlightenment and selflessness and all that, eventually the ego will take over and will have thoughts. Whether you listen to your ego or not, though, is up to you. I think that more than anything, having that awareness of your thoughts is so important because, first off, your thoughts, and I've been saying this the last few days, your thoughts are not who you are. And I feel like that it's something that I have to repeat for myself again. This is another, your thoughts are not who you are. Because I think so many of us, and me included, get caught up with what we think about, and it's like, man, I'm a horrible person sometimes, and sometimes I'm a very empathetic person, and sometimes I'm just thinking about my past and having regret there. And you got to realize those thoughts are like, it's like the ocean, they come and go. It's like a wave, they come and go, and you can't let any just negative thought or positive thought take over your mind of or your identity of who you are, and really just develop that just certainty, that 100% certainty of who you are and where you're going, what you're doing. It's so important, and it's a work in progress for me. That's why it's so important to show up for yourself every day. At least in some small way. People say, "Oh, you have cheat days, cheat days." And yeah, I mean, you can have certain cheat days about different things, but never about your identity. And I think it's really important to show up day in and day out for yourself because it solidifies that identity that you want to cultivate within yourself. I know these are kind of, maybe I'm speaking generalities here, but that's a lot of that is also going to be determined by you. I can't, you know, define who or what your identity is, what you identify with most. That's up to you, and that can change over time. I think you shouldn't be very rigid either. I think more than anything, it should be an identity that serves, identity that is high conscious, which is like high emotions. It's not selfish. It's not me or you taking from others. It's not me or you demeaning others. It has to serve life and this planet and humanity in some capacity. And a lot of our identity should be tied to our creativity, what we like to be creative about. And maybe you want to be creative with how you raise your children, or with your business, or with a hobby. Whatever it is, I encourage to have some sort of creative outlet because it's going to make the identity feel a little bit more whole. I've noticed that since I've started on this journey, even though it's like I don't really expect anything from any of this YouTube, it's just me trying to express myself, trying to get my thoughts out of my mind, you know, and just express myself. And I'll let it, I'll let the pieces fall where they may from there. I love this quote from the Matrix. There's a difference between walking the path and knowing the path. And until you start walking, you're not going to really know the path. I mean, a lot of what we think is our ego. And our ego tries to protect us in different ways by either the wrong action or inaction, you know? Because you can sit here and all day say, like, oh, I could be this, I could have done that, but I don't really want to, I didn't want to work hard at that. You could have, should have, what if. That's all your ego kind of protecting you. And it takes action, it takes doing. It's kind of, I've also been saying lately, just talking about the law of cause and effect. You got to be more of a causer, you got to be more of a doer, and then the world's going to have the effect. I think too many of us are living in effect mode and allowing other people to determine our emotions and our consciousness. We're being programmed every single day through all sorts of different types of media and decision makers as well. Decision makers that don't really have your interest in mind at all. They only have their own interest, their own power in mind. And it's unfortunate, but that doesn't mean that you should allow them to have power over you. And that's where having consciousness and alignment with who your true self are, and not allowing just the news, the media, just to make you a zombie and get you out of creative mode, and whatever it is that you're interested in. And if you have a hard time finding what you're interested in, maybe see what really triggers you, what really upsets you. That might give you a clue. Now, that doesn't mean that you should trigger yourself or get upset. That obviously has some work and healing that you need to do. It reveals that. But at least it gives you a subject that if I get creative in this subject that I get really upset about, maybe that'll make you feel better. And then with practice, it won't make you so upset. You'll be more knowledgeable about that subject, or have more things to say, or just more things to create with it. Just a thought. Just a thought. Anyway, I'll leave it there. As always, man, my neck pain is really getting to me this week. Many blessings to everyone. Much love out to you. Take care. I'm gonna take tomorrow off. Got tomorrow off from work, so you might not see me tomorrow. But much love.